The difference between 3-5 and 2-6 for the Washington Redskins was about that much. The Washington Redskins are 3-5 after a dramatic 30-24 overtime victory over the San Diego Chargers here on FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. In the overtime session, one drive it took for the game to end. The Redskins won the toss, and they took the ball 78 yards into the end zone. Darrell Young, the fullback for the Redskins, his third rushing touchdown of the ball game from 4 yards to end the ball game. But those heroics could not have happened if it wasn't for the Washington Redskins defense late in the fourth quarter, with the Chargers down 24-21 and less than a yard away from scoring with under a minute to go. Washington's defense stopped San Diego on 3 consecutive plays, forcing a 19-yard field goal from Nick Novak, forcing overtime and setting up the heroics for the Washington Redskins. And the main reason the Redskins won the game, their run game, as always. Over 200 yards rushing as a team, 209 to be exact. Alfred Morris, 121 yards on the ground. And after the game, I talked with one of the players that paved the way for the Washington Redskins run game, tackle Trent Williams, and I talked about all the exciting games the Redskins have played here on FedEx Field and whether it's all a plan.
Obviously, no, you want to make them a little less suspenseful, but you know, for us to get the win, it's a huge confidence building. You know, we're blessed to come out of this one, you know, with a W and everybody healthy.
Speaking of the suspense, under a minute to go, less than a yard away from going down and possibly going down in defeat. What was the feeling on the sidelines for you as the Chargers were that close to the goal line and trying to win the game?
It was a helpless feeling. You know, you can't do – you played a long game like that, your future hangs in the balance. And, you know, you can't do anything about it. We got to put all our faith in our defense, and, I mean, they did a heck of a job.
When you say the future's in the balance, what do you mean by future?
Obviously, you know, with us already having 5 losses, every loss is going to, you know, make it that much harder for us to complete our goal, which is getting to the postseason. So, you know, if we go down in that, you know, it just kind of makes that goal a little bit harder to reach.
In overtime, you guys took the ball, went down the field 78 yards for the winning touchdown, most of it on the ground. What was the most gratifying part of that overtime drive, going in and scoring, other than, I guess, the score itself?
Other than the score, just doing it on the ground. You know, as an O-line, you take pride in the run game, and for us to go over 200 yards rushing again, it feels great. And, you know, obviously, I love to see a guy like D.Y. get that much success on the ground. You know, 3 touchdowns, a career high. You know, he deserves every minute of it.
He's an extension of the offensive line, kind of a 7th or 8th offensive lineman. So just elaborate more on D.Y., his 3 touchdowns, and your feeling for him getting all those carries and those important carries and winning the game.
Yeah, obviously, you know, he most of the time he's paving the way for Alfred or for Robert, you know, on the quarterback keepers. And for him to actually have a pigskin in his hands and to do what he did with it, you know, it's a gratifying feeling for him, and I'm proud of him as a teammate. You know, he couldn't happen to a better guy.
How do you get ready for a short week against the Minnesota Vikings on Thursday?
You know, you just try to do a little rehabbing and get your body as good as it can feel by Thursday, and try to hopefully go out and get another tough win on the road.
Do you have any special remedies in terms of that rehab to get yourself ready for Thursday?
Not really, just a hot tub, cold tub. You know, it's not really much you can do.
The importance of this win, going to 3-5, still staying a game away in the loss column from the Dallas Cowboys. Do you guys still feel that the division is up for grabs?
Yeah, definitely, it's still up for grabs. A long season ahead of us, and you know, as long as we can keep winning, our chances of taking that division is going to keep, you know, growing. So,
for the San Diego Chargers, it was a case of good news, bad news. The good news, they were able to come back from a 10-point fourth quarter deficit. The bad news, they weren't able to get over the hump and win the ball game. Just less than a yard away from being able to come away from Landover, Maryland with a victory. Phillip Rivers in this ball game threw for 341 yards, 2 touchdowns in the ball game, but he also threw 2 interceptions in the ball game. Each of those interceptions by Phillip Rivers led to Washington points, a touchdown in the first half and a field goal in the second half in the fourth quarter, which gave gave the Redskins a 24-14 lead, and the Redskins able to win the game 30-24 in overtime. The Redskins don't have a lot of time to prepare for their next game. It's on a Thursday night against the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota so close to beating the Dallas Cowboys on this Sunday. Dallas with a late game victory. If Dallas had lost the game, Washington and Dallas would have been tied in the loss column for first place in the NFC East. But as it stands, Washington one game away from first place in the NFC East. For the San Diego Chargers, they fall to 4-4, fall to 500 this season after 8 games, and game number 9 is going to be a toughie. It's at home, but it's against the 7-1 Denver Broncos coming off a bye week. So San Diego 4-4, taking on the Broncos on Sunday. The Washington Redskins taking on the Minnesota Vikings on Thursday. So stay tuned to alotofsportstalk.com for the written recap of this ball game, and stay tuned on Tuesday where we will provide for you the Tuesday 10 spot, 10 thoughts and observations about Week 9 in the National Football League. So once again, the final score, the Washington Redskins 30, the San Diego Chargers 24 in overtime here in Landover, Maryland. From FedEx Field, my name is Adeshina Koike for alotofsportstalk.com.